Hey guys, and welcome to the e-commerce leaders series, the podcast dedicated to helping founders and senior leaders navigate the future of online retail with AI. I'm your host, Brian Kinghorn, head of growth at Luca AI. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Leroy Lawrence, founder of Pigee. So Leroy, thank you very much for joining me. Before we dive into our topics of conversation, would you mind just giving our listeners a bit of a background on you and where you've come from, where the journey started, what the business is? It'd be great to hear that.
Sure. So my name's Leroy Lawrence. Thanks very much for having me. My background is really capital markets, financial services, investment banking. That's what I've been based around for pretty much all of my career since I finished university. I got lots of experience with payments as well. And really, Pigee just began from being a disgruntled customer of my usual travel, often about 70 flights a year in the past. And I was where was I? I was in Zanzibar, where I was in this particular instance. And I wanted to send something home. Couldn't do that reliably or in a way that I could trust the merchant necessarily. I really wanted to fix that particular problem. I wasn't an expert in logistics. But it didn't look that difficult. It was my position at the time. But I am an expert in payments, financial services, and tech and everything else, though. And so originally, Pigee was really just about sending travel shopping home, protecting your payments, making sure you get the best quote for it, make sure you can track it, make sure you can buy again. Since then, Pigee's become a much bigger animal than that. Partially because we've got some really good top tier experienced senior people from logistics in our business now, and we've got some really great developers, and also we're servicing couriers, last mile logistics companies, shipping agents all around the world, and then we're also helping merchants still as well. So merchants who may have a physical store who would love to have an online presence, we're helping them to do that as well with our software that we built.
Cool. Nice one. Sounds great. And I suppose, the business was obviously born out of frustration, first of all, but I'm sure beyond that frustration, you did a bit more research as well. So where did you see the opportunity for you guys? And what was the gap in the market?
So, I did a lot of research myself, hired some people from the LSE to do some research as well. Only so much you can really gain even from research until you go out there and start speaking to people and to customers. So at first, I just wanted to build an initial MVP, which is what I did over, I think it took about 7 or 8 months at the time. Nowadays, you'd be a lot quicker with AI and everything else. And then I had to figure out, well, where has this problem all the time? And I created a matrix of potential countries and cities, and Bali came up as the top, or one of the top ones anyway. So I went and spent some time in Bali, hired some salespeople who were trained up and got them out there. I wasn't really trying to do sales when we did some sales. I wasn't really trying to do sales. It was really just a hands-on, on-the-ground research experiment. And that's what we did. We onboarded about 250 physical merchants who send travel shopping home, normally to Australia or to the Western world. And we got tons of feedback, enough that made our MVP look completely naff, as what is the plan when you do an MVP. And for us to get a really concrete understanding of which partners we should partner with that they actually like, and also the level of technical skills that a merchant in those emerging markets was like to have, which was, I thought it would be low. It was really low, is what happened. So we had to kind of, when you're doing any kind of UX or UI, you're trying to make things idiot-proof. Unfortunately, there's never quite such thing as idiot-proof. So just keep testing and experimenting. And that's what we did. And again, we're somewhere completely different now, even with that particular app and product than we were in the beginning.
Yeah, nice. So just, I don't think I've asked you, when did you start the business? And then second part of that question would be, like, how does the business look now? Like, what exactly is it that you do for clients? How has it changed from that initial start of the business?
So I had the initial problem during lockdown. So it was during COVID. I had the initial issue. It was a few years after that we really kind of started being a real business and doing any sales and that kind of stuff, really. And now we've always been B2B. We've always thought, let's focus on the merchant, train them up, give them what they need, and let them deal with their end customer. So we are still a B2B business. But merchants are something that we still do with merchants. We've got many of them around the world, but we do like to now get somewhere else down that food chain. So I wouldn't even describe Pigee as a platform. I'll describe it as an operating system. We have about 8 different products inside of the operating system. And with those products, they're able to do the most important thing, which is to service their customers, is what they're really trying to do. And one of the products that we're really focused on now is our courier product, which allows last mile, same day, multi-drop couriers and logistics and shipping agents anywhere in the world, not just in the UK, but anywhere in the world, to run their whole business, from their customer side, client side, driver side, to run the whole thing. And so, and on top of that, that integrates into our Pigee network as well. So we have a thing that just connected all together. So on one side, you could be a local last mile delivery company. Maybe you have your own clients and you're delivering stuff to your drivers, but you might have an international package. You can put that back into our network as well. And so, there's lots of kind of connective network functions that happen by it all being connected together.
Yeah, nice. Cool. No, it sounds really interesting. I'm sure the journey hasn't been totally straightforward. I'm sure there's been things that you've had to overcome along the way. So what have been some of the biggest challenges or complexities that you've had to figure out?
I'm not from a logistics background, so there were plenty for me personally. And I think often from the outside, things look a bit ridiculous when you see how convoluted processes can become, customs being one of them. I just think it's one of the most ridiculous things. There should be lots of unifying forces of information around it, of which there are not enough of. And then it's not just understanding the processes of logistics, it's understanding almost the personalities of the people who run the logistics industry, and those with power and those without, and and then understanding what is normal for someone in that space. Unfortunately, with any product, you can't just go and invent something on the fly that makes perfect sense to you and throw it at someone and say, here, just do it this way. This is obvious. Why don't you want to do it this way? Because people are creatures of habit and they like to do what they're comfortable with. So you have to kind of start where they are, and that's with merchants and logistics. Start where they are, and then keep throwing in extra features and benefits that they can not live without after that point. But for me, logistics has been a big learning curve. I had to really find some very experienced people in that marketplace. And then on top of that, I'm always speaking to courier company owners and that kind of stuff, to kind of empty their brain for as much information as humanly possible. I love it when they're just telling me that this isn't going to work, is my favorite response. So I can figure out how it can work when I speak to them.
Nice. Awesome. And in regards to international expansion for an e-commerce brand, just as an example, how is it, in your opinion, is it getting easier for brands to do that, or is it getting more complicated? You mentioned customs as an example.
It should be easier. I think it's easier with us, if I'm being biased. If you have a marketplace of your own, it's very difficult to get traction initially. We were fortunate because we were not even thinking about a marketplace, but we were building the traction for a marketplace just as an afterthought. But for a lot of marketplace owners, it can be very, very difficult to get traction and compete with the big incumbents as well, who have everything in place. It's very difficult. If you're a brand on one of those e-commerce platforms, you're going to be drawn to just deal with the bigger players anyway. But that also means that the money that goes into your pocket is going to be dramatically eaten into with lots of really heavy fees that we don't do, but others will do along the way as well. So I guess you've got to just kind of figure out what works for you. If you're running your own just your own platform, whether it's like WooCommerce or Shopify, anything like that as well yourself, you just have to make sure that all of your compliance is right when it comes to anything international. Domestic is easy. Domestic is a drama at all. It's really, really easy domestic stuff. As soon as it becomes international, it becomes a headache for anyone. And we've dealt with people who have been 30 years in this industry of international compliance for customs, and it's still tricky. It still changes every single day. So yeah, I'd love to build something that's just based around that as a unifying source of truth, and maybe that'll be something outside of what we're doing now as we get bigger as well. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it shouldn't be that difficult. It can be. Customs send your customers bills all the time that they get upset about. They do sometimes say, not only am I not paying that, you better take it back, and then you're in trouble as well. So you do have to make some speed.
Nice. And I suppose, again, just thinking about e-commerce leaders now are drowning in more data and metrics and dashboards and reports and all this type of thing than ever before. Like, we've got so much information available to us, and I suppose one of the areas of complexity for these businesses is logistics. Like, it's one of the things that e-com leaders have got to think about. So where is it that you think most business actually struggle when it comes to the logistics, and obviously how do you guys make that easier for them?
I think because no one thinks about logistics, especially if you're running a brand. There are so many options going in your direction, and you're never really sure, and you just want to take the easiest one. Like, do you feel that you can probably trust this logistics provider, and are they going to give me the adequate attention that I need if I have any problems? Which obviously the bigger they are, the less likely there is of that. And so you as a brand owner can be a bit naive, and even if you've been around for a while, you're going to have you're only going to know about that one provider that you're working with. There might be something that's just 10 times better out there that you don't even know about. So I think experience information can be a real thing, and you don't want to be wasting your time with it anyway, because you've got better things to be doing. You're trying to all kinds of things to worry about, and having to worry about which is the best logistics. You just want the easiest and cheapest, typically.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose that brings me on to the AI side of things now. So obviously AI is like changing and reshaping every part of not only e-commerce but commerce in general. So from your perspective for Pigee, how is AI already changing your business and the logistics and industry in general, and how do you see that continue to develop over the years?
There are some products that we've built, and there are some platforms that we've built internally which would have taken a very long time to build, that we knock them out in no time nowadays. That does mean you, of course, need more human interaction and testing to make sure everything's working, because you can really fall down a hole if you don't test things properly now. And even using other AIs, LLMs to test it isn't adequate compared to a person testing things to understand it. But one thing with AI is that I, as a rule, try to automate everything that we're doing. It means that I can run experiments far more aggressively on bigger data numbers and see what things are working and what things aren't. And I love experiments. I should have been a scientist. So I really enjoy just having a theory, building a plan, letting it run, see what happens. Unfortunately, because AI is moving so quickly and people's response to AI is also, their behaviors change so quickly, it might work this quarter, this year, and next year it'll be completely dead in the water as well. So you have to you're in a race to be ahead of the curve with everything that you're doing, which I don't mind, because I'm a competitive person. I like doing that. But you do have to always, you can't relax. It used to be 5 years ago, you could build something, relax, just let it run. Nowadays you can't relax at all when it comes to AI.
And where do you see the biggest opportunity with AI for businesses like Pigee?
There are some things that people are going to figure out. People are going to figure out how to do really, really high quality, high converting outreach, and I don't believe anyone has yet at all. That's the same for us, but because we rely so much on network effects, and on the data that we're always enriching as well, I think we'll be well placed to be able to figure that out. And again, what we're saying about the customs as well, we built some really good custom systems for helping people get things through. We've got a really high rate of success so far. People not having international shipments get sent back to them as well. So I think we're going to keep really pushing on that side of things. But it's not that exciting. Someone says, "Oh, great, use us. Your customs is it's going to make it through customs." Well, unless you're shipping thousands of things a month, if you're an individual especially, it's not something that's even important to you. So that's not that sexy, to be honest with you. But also, I think when it comes to increasing your success in outreach, you also need to be increasing your satisfaction for your customer as well. And so, sure, we're going to be automating lots of things, but I'm putting as much effort into understanding what their outcomes were as I am into getting them to notice us. And you can't I think people get a bit lazy. They think, right, we've got a customer, they've used us, let me just send them a form for a feedback form. No one fills them in. Pointless.
Yeah.
Someone's got to, we're all very lazy customers. So that's the whole point of being a customer. No one's going to fill in a feedback form. So you've got to think of really special and ingenious ways that can motivate someone to give you some feedback. And also, you're going to have a negative slant sometimes, because people will love to complain about something, but they won't necessarily want to talk to you about when it's been good. And I think I posted on LinkedIn a while ago that you have a customer sometimes who might use you several times, and for whatever reason they stop using you, and you have no idea why you're getting churn. And so it's really, really important to understand churn before it happens in a way that makes them motivated to tell you why they're considering going elsewhere as well. So I think, outreach is really important, but I really want to push on the customer experience as truthfully as we can do as well.
Yeah, nice. And we're obviously moving towards a world where it's here already to an extent. It's not quite arrived completely, where AI shopping agents are going to be potentially placing orders on behalf of customers and things like that. How do the platforms like you, Pigee, need to evolve for that world, or do you at all, or are you completely set up for that type of thing already?
I'd love it if someone could. In my house, I have Google Homes everywhere. So if you breathe, Google responds to you.
Yeah.
I'd love it. I know, with what it's called now, the Amazon version of it, the Alexa version, people often say, "Hey Alexa, I want to buy XYZ," and I really want to have integrations with both of them for Pigee, where you can just say, "Hey Pigee, I want to buy XYZ from Timbuktu," and have it sent to my house, and it be able to do that in a really, really simple and transparent way. And I'm a real techno geek anyway, so when I think about these sort of things, I think about people having inserts in their arms and the glasses on, and they can see what's in front of them, and then just nodding their head and it being sent to them. So it is all about consumerism, which might already be too easy to empty your pocket anyway, but consumerism becoming even more effortless. And everyone has to compete on that mindset of how effortless it has to be in the future, because as we see with Amazon, they really figured out lots of communication and interactions with customers, and everyone just forgot about eBay and everything else because of it as well. So if you're not focused on making a purchase almost as easy as a wave and a nod, 5 years from now, you're going to go bust.
Yeah, nice. And generally, the whole global shipping industry, how do you see AI changing that industry over the next few years?
Well, for a start, there are thousands and thousands of logistics providers, and a lot of them exist on WhatsApp. And I feel I'm silly saying that, but I'm in tons and tons of WhatsApp groups of logistics providers, and they're always, "Oh, these are my new prices for what I'm doing here." They act as if it's or whenever WhatsApp was invented. They act like they're from a long time ago, and I can't believe they pick up any business either by just messaging random groups of logistics industry people saying, "Here's my prices this week. We can ship from A to B. Trust us." I just find that ridiculous. probably some of them are listening to me now. It's not personal.
Yeah.
But I want to wrap up all of those guys. I want to wrap them all up into what we're doing so that they have a much more official, compliant, trustworthy custodian type business that they can do their business through these platforms. And I think there's a lot of consolidation like that going on with the bigger players as well. I just think we have fresher ideas than a lot of those really big, slow moving giants that are around as well.
Nice.
So yeah, a lot of consolidation is going to be happening on that side of it.
Yeah. Awesome. And in regards to like building the company, so as a founder, you're responsible for obviously a lot of different aspects of the business. But what's been the biggest lesson so far for you in building Pigee?
On the logistics side, you have to tell people what they want to hear in regards to any big carrier doing anything. You have to tell them what they want to hear to an extent, because they don't care about you what you're doing. What you're doing could feel like it's the next big thing, but they don't care, because it's once you get that big beamer type side, everyone in that business just cares about their own bonus check at the end of the year. So you can't really have a human conversation with people. So you have to kind of bend before you open your mouth. You got to think about, well, what does this individual want from this outcome, and what does their boss want from this communication as well, before you even start talking to anyone. That's one thing that I've had to learn the hard way as well. And just how there is because there's no unification. We have our own like aggregator. It's one of the, probably I think it's maybe the best, most proven aggregator in the world today, which is a very big claim, but there's reasons why I'm saying that. But you're trying to unify lots of intentionally different unconnectable systems into one system as well. That can be tough. We've created a new thing that I think solves all of that as well, which is going to really change industry. So there are ways around it, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I've come from a place of ignorance. I'm not from logistics. I have to learn the hard way a lot of things. It's become easier and easier from my own experience, people who put into the team, but it's still a journey. But I like that. I like different things. So
yeah, nice. And if you were starting Pigee again today, what would you do? What would you do differently than what you've done up to this point?
I start from where I am now, wouldn't I? But I wouldn't. I wouldn't even start with the get travel shopping home stuff, to be honest with you. As much fun as it's been, and as much as those customers have liked it as well, I wouldn't start there. I would start from where we are now, which is this operating system. Is where I'd start, and then I'd work my way out to that part of the network eventually. Yeah,
nice. And if we were to have you back on the podcast in 5 years from now, what would need to happen for Pigee for you to look back on that time and see it as a success?
I think one of the things with Pigee is that I like to make money. Everyone likes to make money, but I like to make change. I'm not trying to be a Mother Teresa here, because I'm not at all. But one thing about Pigee is that we have this academy that allows people to set up shop as a freelancer from wherever they are in the world. As long as they want to work hard, learn hard, they can make lots more money than they had the chance of where they were living. We have about 360 freelancers in that platform right now. If we speak again in 5 years from now, and we have 10,000 of those freelancers who are all earning at least twice as much of what they would have earned if they weren't doing that, for me, that's what success will look like.
Yeah, nice. And then just on to some more like rapid fire questions. So just like, quick, first things that come to your head, quick answer type questions. So first of all, on an AI side of things, what's your favorite productivity tool?
I currently rinse Claude. Yeah, there's another one called Maya, Maia, that is phenomenal for anything document-wise of its brain. You may not have heard of Maya, but check it out. It's another really, really good tool as well.
Okay, cool. Most underrated e-commerce trend? And it's a wide statement, but what would you think is underrated in e-commerce?
I'm sure to answer that, I'm going to give you a technology response rather than a
fine.
purist. There were I'm not sure if it's still that cool anymore, but there are a lot of people making these Chrome extensions, browser extensions, where you could buy something from any store and have it shipped to you. Whether it's not necessarily for shipping, just think, but people using browser extensions has been really overlooked. It's never really taken off properly. But if someone cracks how to use browser extensions, and you can build them so quickly now as well, I think someone's really gonna make a lot of money doing that as well.
Yeah. Nice. And then one logistics myth. So is there any myth in logistics that you need to squash?
Probably the pricing. The pricings are just the pricings are. I mean, you get some carriers who change their price once a year, and some who change them ad hoc. It doesn't matter if they're a big carrier or a small carrier. They do kind of. I know they say it's all about the price of fuel and everything else, but I don't think that's really that true. I think they're pulling. I don't know where they're pulling this price out of, to be honest with you. But there are some really big restrictions that affect everyone globally in logistics that don't need to exist, other than the fact that they just want to have control in the industry. And I think that's the myth that they've been building, that they're pricing things based on anything else other than control. So
nice. And is there a market, let's say a country right now, that you're most excited about? Like, where is there like huge growth, or like, is there one right now that you're most excited about?
Yeah, I mean, we're originally started in Southeast Asia. We built a lot of market in South Africa as well. Nigeria is the one that really excites me. I know that everyone always thinks, you've got so many people growing. If you can figure out Nigeria, you'll be a billionaire by next week. But it's such a difficult Rubik's Cube to figure out. We're just going for an acquisition there at the moment as well. So, I think if you've got the right experience on the ground there and you put the right resources behind it, that's my theory. I think that's how you're going to potentially crack that market. If you're going in fresh, not from there, I think you've got next to no hope. So Nigeria right now is really exciting for me.
Cool. And one thing that you feel founders overcomplicate?
I think a lot of founders think you just need to throw money at every single thing. And the more money you throw at it, the better your outcome will be, when that could be the complete opposite to the truth in most instances. You have to appreciate you need to just be obsessed about upskilling yourself and learning as much as possible. Even if you don't do that thing yourself day to day, understand how it works to a basic level at least. And I just think that you feel like you're simplifying it by throwing money at things all the time, when actually all you're doing is learning a lot of difficult lessons in what you'll think will be people letting you down, but you're just being too lazy. Pull your finger out and do it yourself, I think, a lot of the time.
Nice. Well, thanks, Leroy, for your insights and expertise so far. But before we wrap up completely, where's the best place for people to follow along on the journey, either for you personally or the business?
Yeah, I mean, you can find I've become very active on LinkedIn recently, so I think it's Leroy.Lawrence after LinkedIn is the way you can find me. Pigee Inc. on our stories as well, and I try to be a little bit active at Leroy Hype on Instagram. Cool.
Nice one. Well, thanks very much, Leroy. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Some great insights for our guest. So thanks very much.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.